Hey, folks, this is the second episode of my special conversation with Rich Scarfo. This is focusing on solution providers and what you can do to maximize the impact and get as many meetings as possible at health, which, is a gigantic meeting. And we all kind of, as many times as we've been there, we probably don't optimize our time there. So this is a really good 25, 30 minutes of understanding from the producer's perspective, Rich Scarfo's, on how to take advantage of this event to maximize your growth strategies, whether you're a solution provider there, whether you are a startup, and everywhere in between. Really good meeting or conversation I had with Rich talking about all the cool things around generating meetings, doing your preparation, planning your follow-up, and everywhere in between. As a reminder, we are a media partner with Health. They don't not spend money with us. We do not spend money with them, but we do have a media partnership. I do conduct some podcast interviews when I'm there. I will be there if you want to connect. And if you want to attend and save $250 off the general admission, use the code H25_BSV for Bright Spots Ventures. Capital H25_BSV. Hope to see you at Health and enjoy this 30 minutes. Really good for you solution providers to listen to on how to maximize the impact of Health 2025. So, Rich, from a growth standpoint, health's becoming, health is more than a conference now. Right? It's a growth engine for the industry. What makes it such a catalyst for innovation?
Well, I think for us, we've always looked at health less as an event and more as a platform. And, it's really important for us to create a platform where the industry can come together and look at what is actually going to drive it forward. I think a lot of events or programs that you go to, you hear a lot of the same conversations over and over. We're looking at bringing people together in a meaningful way and very thoughtful conversations, creating that marketplace aspect where we can bring, a lot of the groups I mentioned before, especially large scale hospital systems and healthcare systems and employers and payers together in a way where they're meeting companies and exploring solutions that are different. That really focuses on the innovation side of what we do, looking forward, bringing new companies, bringing all the startups together, and just putting it all together in a way that makes it easy for people to navigate.
Let me comment on that for a moment. And I want to say, so, and I say this, not to necessarily brag, but to let everyone know that I think I'm a credible opinion on this. So I produce conferences for over 15 years. I've been producing the show for over 10. And I would say that some of the behind the scenes things that you do not get to see when you are deciding to attend a meeting is the intention and approach to production. And what you just heard from Rich is a very intentional approach that his entire team follows to designing this meeting, the entire experience of this meeting. And it's not by coincidence when you attend this meeting that it's a different experience. And yes, it's big and could be overwhelming, but it is absolutely intended to foster relationships in a way that most other meetings are not done. And I can tell you that as both a producer for over 2 decades and as someone who's attended the event for 5 or so years. So really important when you're deciding to invest in your travel that you're thinking about what programs not only going to attract the right audience, but are designed to enable you to be successful in what you want to accomplish. Go ahead. You want to say something?
No, I think, you've hit it. And one of the things that, we look at is in creating the platform, making sure it has 2 very important pieces to it. One is it's a strong business platform, right? That's first and foremost. But the second is we really believe that it's okay to come there and enjoy yourself as well. So that's why you'll see a lot of the things like, our evening events and our unicorn running around the floor and things like that some people might look at as a little bit frivolous. We look at it as creating an amazing experience because we believe that when you get the senior most people from across the industry at an event, the more comfortable, the happier they are, the better the environment. It opens up that ability to network, and it makes the conversations easier, and it just makes it more of an enjoyable place to be. And that's really our goal is, we're very serious about what we do, but we think we can have a little bit of fun doing it and create an awesome environment for people.
Agree 100%.
Yeah.
You're involved for a big convention, second to none. Bring your water bottle, though. You got to stay hydrated. So to tell us quickly,
Yeah.
Market Connect, Investor Connect, explain very briefly what they are, but really what I want to hear from is how they differ from a traditional conference networking and why they deliver such an high ROI for everyone attending.
Well, let's start with Market Connect. I think at traditional events or trade shows, which we really don't see ourselves as, the focus is on building a booth, staffing it with your sales team, and depending on all of your success to come out of that model. We look at it a little bit differently. We want companies to right-size their activations so they don't have to be larger than they want to be just to stand out, and understand how they want to approach the event. So we have a lot of companies that might be in a meeting space, but place focus on our Market Connect program. We have others that balance it out, and we have, a philosophy that if we get the right companies in Market Connect and the right representatives from payers, providers, employers, and pharma, that one component of the event could be the most important. And I say that because these are very intentional meetings. They're built on strategic engagement, and it's a very simple model. We have on one side our sponsors and exhibitors that take meetings. They buy them in sets of up to 50 meetings, and on the other side we have buyers or representatives from systems that are responsible for the decision-making process, especially around procurement or new products or pilots or any of that stuff. And they are both vetted. Once both sides are approved, companies get their meetings, and our representatives from those organizations they get complimentary reg to the event. But then what they do is they're just required to take a minimum of 8 meetings with sponsors and exhibitors. Those meetings are done in a way where you create profiles on both sides. Somebody from a provider system can search all the different things that are important to them, whether it's a specific company, a category of interest, a problem they're trying to solve, and they can find all the companies that are focused on that. They can then reach out to them and request a meeting. If the company is interested in the meeting, they'll accept the meeting, and it can be done vice versa, by the way. The companies can reach out and request meetings with providers and payers as well. And once those meetings are set, the system brings both parties to a day, a time, and a table. They go to our lounge. They're 15-minute meetings. They're very managed in terms of making sure both parties show up. They run on time, and then that's it. And the information is exchanged either there at the table or through the system, and it provides an opportunity for those parties to meet, to make sure there's interest, and then there's different ways to follow up after the event. But we last year was our largest health event for these meetings, which we ran about 4,000. We're looking at running upwards of 6,000 or 7,000 of those meetings this year. So whereas a focus at a trade show might be on the booth, ours is definitely on bringing the right people together. So however that happens, it's okay with us. And last year, I think we exchanged 25,000 different invites to get to those 4,000 meetings. We're looking really at that, increasing by 50 to 60% this year. So it's definitely a very important part of the event.
So something I'll let you know. I have a very good friend at a decision-making role at a solution provider that was a prominent sponsor of the show last year.
Yeah.
And she said she was blown away by the success of Market Connect and how it was to get meetings. So I'm just giving you an N of one, folks, but
well, listen, we tell every company, if you are not adding meetings to whatever it is you're doing, you're missing out on something that is very very important to the success. We feel the meetings drive measurable ROI, as I think you're representing from the story that you heard. They generate high value leads, and it's definitely the strategic matching that we like. So it could lead to really one of many things that as outcomes of the meetings, but it's definitely one of the best ways for companies and providers and payers to come together.
Totally agree. Talk to me quickly about Investor Connect.
Yep.
So if people are in the space, just
Mhm.
how could they
So,
go?
Yeah, Investor Connect's a little bit different. For any investor at the event, as you're registering, you can opt into that program, and then you'll be prompted for your profile and all of that. As a startup, we offer special rates for startups to both register and exhibit at the event. And as part of either process, they're vetted, and once they're approved, they get the special rate for registering or their startup kiosk. And then as part of that, they can opt into Investor Connect as well. The thing that's a little bit different about Investor Connect is all of the meetings are driven by the investors, as you can imagine. It allows them to engage with startups directly. Again, profile driven. So they see everything that a startup is about in terms of where they are, in terms of their stage, what they're representing, what they're looking for. And then they use that to set up meetings. So Investor Connect for us has been really a staple from the beginning. We'll have upwards of about 1,800 investors at the event this year. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll have about 350 startups exhibiting and, another 1,000 plus attending. And if you're attending or exhibiting as a startup, you have access to this program. You don't have to be exhibiting. So it's really wonderful way for a startup that might not be ready to go out on the floor yet to start with the, meeting with investors to get to the stage where you are ready to be on the floor and open for business.
Are the meetings similar in time duration?
Yeah.
15
Yeah, we absolutely. They're in our Investor Connect lounge, which we've built on the floor. And we have, again, you pick a day, a time, and a table, and that's where you meet. Those meetings are timed, and when they're finished, they're finished. Then we have the lounge area of Investor Connect, which allows for, follow-up conversations. And then Market Connect is also on the floor this year, I should mention, and same setup.
Yeah, so I was going to come back to Market Connect too. Could you just break down? We'll do Market Connect first. Come back to Investor Connect. How would you provide consultation for everyone planning for a 15-minute meeting? So if I'm a solution provider and I've got 8 of these set up, how should I plan on these meetings? 15 minutes is not a lot of time. So
No, and the 15-minute is set for a couple of reasons. One is, if things are not going to work out, in 15 minutes. If you're primed for a follow-up meeting, follow-up conversation, you also are going to know that within that time frame. I would say the best way to prepare for Market Connect is twofold. One is you have to have the right profile set up. So the participants in the program know exactly what you're offering, what you're looking for in terms of a good partner at a provider, system, or payer. And then also, companies know who these meetings are with before they get to the event, as do the participants from the provider and payer side. So it's really important that you do research on the companies or that you're meeting with, who you're meeting with, and be really prepared for them. It is one of the most important interactions that companies are going to have at the event, right? It's an opportunity to get in front of a potential customer. So for the solution provider side, you have to be prepared, just like any business meeting. But, with this, you have the benefit of seeing their full profile and what they're actually looking for and why that meeting's taking place. So we give everyone all of the information they need to be successful. And if you just take that and really focus on it and prepare for the meetings, it's really the best thing that can be done on either side of the table.
One piece of advice I'd offer up to as someone that ran solution strategy for a large solution provider for over a decade. When you're setting up your profile, folks, don't necessarily talk about yourself. Talk about the problem from the perspective of the people you're going to be wanting to meet with. Talk about more problems and how you could help solve their problems, but talk about it from their perspective, not about yours. Your benefits, your features feels a little bit too germane. I would talk about who's reading that and talk about their issues. I think you're going to have a better success in getting those meetings. My 2 cents.
Yeah. Look, these are very much first impression meetings, and just like anything in life, first impressions mean a lot. A cycle of a deal could be anywhere from somewhat immediate post event to up to 18 months, right? So these are definitely, you need to look at it in that perspective, and that 15 minutes will set the path forward in whatever direction it's meant to go. So you got to be ready for it.
Talk to me quickly about Investor Connect. How are we prepared for those meetings? Similar, I guess.
Very, very similar, but the difference there is, a lot of startups are unknown, right? They're coming to the event. They're early in their stage. It's really important to make sure that your pitch is down, that you understand how to best use that 15 minutes in front of an investor, how to make sure that you're saying yes to the right meetings. Don't just say yes to a meeting because it's an investor. Make sure it's a good match. And we have other resources at the event that fall under the category of coaching and boot camps. Really important because we want startups to be ready. This could be more immediate. If you are at a point where you're ready for investment, it's your 15 minutes to make your case. So, and you will not be anywhere at any time during the year where you have access to more decision makers, more investors, and more even companies that are looking at startups in different ways. Any other time of the year, this is the one time of the year that we think provides the best opportunity for startups, regardless of what they're looking for. So you have to go ready to do business.
Good stuff. Last question. This has been great. This is gold. What are the strategies you recommend to organizations for following up after health and keeping momentum alive?
Oh, a couple of things. We're in the age of spam, right? So you want to make sure that your follow up is thoughtful, that it's wanted, and that and that's why making sure at the end of these meetings, whether it's on the investor side or the Market Connect side, is to really at the end of the meeting ask, how should I follow up? Are you interested in following up? Make sure it's warranted and wanted. That's the first thing. The second is really have a clear understanding of what took place in those meetings and what the best follow up is, and lead that conversation. This is based on our meeting. I'd like to follow up on the things that we discussed, and then propose a follow up plan. So I think those are good things. And do it quickly after the event. You don't want too much time to go by. So prepare for the meeting, have a great meeting, figure out what the follow-up is at the end of the meeting, and then do it in a timely and thoughtful way that represents what took place in that meeting. I think that's really the best forward.
Yeah, and I would say all your preparation for follow-up needs to happen before you even get on a plane to go to Vegas, right?
Listen, after each meeting, take time to really do exactly what I was just mentioning. Do a summary for yourself of the meeting, what went well, what you think you need to hit on in that next conversation, what that person on the other side of the table was looking for, and how you can turn that into something that is, either hopefully an investment in your company or a new customer for your company, and vice versa on the provider and payer side. Your time is very valuable, so you want to make sure that you are also going after the individuals that you met in these programs, or even randomly at the event.
Totally. And I know you're based in New York, and so quick little New York kind of story, and that I learned of a few years ago. So like a generation ago, like Broadway ran into a particular theater in Broadway ran into a problem where audiences were actually leaving at intermission, and talented actors, solid story, but people weren't staying for the second act. And what the producers realized when they were kind of digging in was it wasn't the performance that was causing people to leave and having that attrition. It was actually the stagehands. Like the crew had started kind of stepping out after each scene change to explain how they pulled off the lighting and the rigs and everything. And they were adding this, they thought, value to the show by talking about all the things that were going on behind the scenes. But the truth was the audience came to hear about the story, not about pulley systems and soundboards. And what I would say in healthcare, in our industry, is like tech and innovation is the stagehand, and the projects, the better pricing accuracy, the improved risk management, the better risk adjustment, whatever it be, higher engagement, that's the play. And so when you're thinking about preparing for these meetings and the follow-up should be about not about the tool per se, but about the outcomes that result from your tools. That's what I meant about talking about right? It's about the thought leadership, and it's not about you and your tech, but it's about the outcome that comes from your thought leadership. So I would impress upon everyone when they're preparing for their health follow-up to be thinking in that way, traditional way. Hey, great stuff. Looking forward to seeing you. Looking forward to a great event. And appreciate so much you spending so much time with us, giving us sort of the prep. I feel like this is really good practice for the opening week of the NFL season, so to speak. So to all of you listening, look forward to seeing you in Vegas, October 19th to the 22nd. Thank you all for tuning in. We do not take the time you spend with us for granted ever, and we hope this is a different episode, but we hope the ideas, the bright spots, the innovations that Rich shared with you today inspire your thinking, get you excited about health, inspire you to go to Vegas, meet up with us, and get your company ready to take some of the approaches suggested today to improve your performance, and in doing so, make your company better and improve healthcare for all of us. We produce this show for you. Remember, this is your Bright Spots in Healthcare podcast. Thank you, everyone.